to the EarlyWorks webinar for families. Today I'll be showing you how you can use your free EarlyWorks app to engage with your child's childcare service and also just to track your child's learning and development. So what will happen first of all is you will receive an email generated from your child's service, and in that email you'll be provided with a link that will take you to this login screen, the EarlyWorks login screen. And there you will just enter the email that you provided your service with to use with EarlyWorks, and there will also be a password included in that email, and you'll use that password the first time to log in. And then once you log in for the first time, EarlyWorks will guide you through changing that password to one that's a little more user-friendly and one that you're likely to remember. So I'm just going to click on Login for my demo account. Then what will happen is you'll be taken to your child's, basically the summary page for your child. And this is where you see most of the information that's been recorded for your child in the service. So I'll just take you through step by step each of the different items that you'll find in the child summary. So at the top there'll be notes about your child. Different services use this for different purposes. Sometimes the child notes might include information that you've provided the service with. So, special things about your child that are important for all of the educators to know and understand. Or some services use the child notes section to update the goals. So as they're working with you to reassess the goals for your child, they might be included here in the child notes. Then you'll have the admin type information about your child. So what room they're in, their birth date, their age, and then the days that your child attends the service. And most of the time the service will also have added a photo for your child. Then the interesting stuff all happens under here. Basically, we've got the journal entries. So the journals, again, different services use journals for different purposes. A lot of the time the journal is like an overview of what's happened in a day or a week in the service. So I'll just show you an example here of a journal entry. The journal entry will have photos, and by default you get this nice slideshow view. So it'll take you through the photos as a slideshow. Then you can see the date that the journal was created, who it was created by, and the framework that was being used. So if you're in a long daycare service, it will likely be the Early Years Learning Framework. If your child's in vacation care or out of school care, then it will be My Time, Our Place. Then the voice of the child. So if your child has said anything, if there's been any dialogue that really illustrates the learning or the interest of your child, that will be included here. Then the experiences observed. These are just the activities or experiences that are covered in the journal. And then the journal entry. So that in this instance, it's just an overview of what's happened in the week. Sometimes it might be your service might provide you with one of these each day. And really the purpose of the journal is a springboard for discussion, so you can talk with your child about what's happened during the day. Then the reflection of learning, so the learning that's taken place, so the kinds of things the children have learnt in the room during that day or that week. And then the outcomes, either the Early Years Learning Framework or My Time, Our Place. And then your comments, so you have the option here of actually adding your comments about the journal. So this one, the parent has said, Aidan loves scarecrows. He told us about Alfie's uncle's scarecrow. Now Aidan wants to make one for our veggie garden. I know what we'll be doing this weekend. Aidan has also been noticing words that start with, but I can't believe how much he's learning at childcare. So don't be shy about adding comments. The educators, it's really powerful for them to be able to have that feedback from you. So that's the journal entry. So I'll go back into the child summary again. You also have access to the observations that have been created about your child. So I'm going to go into one of these observations, and to view the observation, you just click on it. And the observation is similar to a journal, except that it tends to be a little more detailed and focused just on your child or on a small group of children rather than the whole room. So again, the same information up the top. The voice of the child's included again, any photos that have been taken, and then you've got a description of what happened, the next step. So that's if another activity or experience is being planned to build on the learning or the interest that's been demonstrated by your child in the observation. The reflection of learning, so reflecting on the learning that's taken place, and then the outcomes that have been demonstrated, and then a comment. Often the educators will actually add a comment to explain how that particular outcome has been evidenced or demonstrated on that occasion. And also any developmental milestones that have been achieved might also be listed there, and if it and possibly a comment to explain how that milestone was demonstrated. And again, you've got the option of adding your comments. So that's observations. And then the next part, images. So any images that have been saved for your child will be included here. If I click on the photo, have the option then of being able to add a comment. So you can comment on the photos. You can also download the photo if you want to your device, if you really like it. The other option that you've got is if you click on more, then you can select photos and print them. So you have that option as well. Now we go back into the child summary. Documents. These are any documents that have been added for your information. So there's one here, it's a coffee invitation. I can just click on it and then I can see that, ooh, we've been invited to have coffee on our service. And daily communications. This is where the educators let you know about all of the food information. So often services will have the menu there so you can see what your child was offered that day for food. The little serving sizes next to each meal time tell you how much your child ate. And if your child was offered a meal but didn't want it, then it will say declined. And then any information about bottles or nappies or toileting, when your child slept, and then any comments. And in the comments, the first comment is likely to be a group comment that was sent to everyone in the room. So just a reminder that we're still collecting yogurt containers and egg cartons. All donations will be gratefully received. And then there might be individual comments about your child. So Aidan loved the tuna casserole today. He had 3 serves. If you'd like the recipe, let me know. And then a comments feed. So these are basically any comments that have been added for your child, and you can select what comments you'd like to look at. So you can just see the educator comments. So they're comments that educators have added. You can see family comments. They're comments that you would have added. And child's learning journey comments. These are the comments that have been added to explain how an outcome has been demonstrated, usually in an observation or in a journal entry. And you'll notice that you've got an option of replying to comments, and you can also add images if you would like to. So if you want to add a comment, you can do so. You would add your comment, and then I can click Save Comment. And then I'll just go to Family Comments, and I can see that that comment is there. And if I want to add an image, I can. So that's the child summary. If we go to programs, this is where you'll see the program for your child's room. So there are 2 programs here, the daily routine and the June program. I'm going to go and have a look at the June program. To view a program, I just click View Program. And this is how the program appears in EarlyWorks. Up the top, you will see whatever framework is being used. So the framework are basically the outcomes that your educators are working towards. Then underneath, you've got all of the experiences or the activities that have been planned. So you'll have the title of the experience here, and if there are any images that have been attached to help with the planning of that experience, they'll appear there. Then the details, so basically a description of the actual activity will appear here. the intended outcomes, and you've just got the number reference to the outcomes here. If you want to see what those outcomes are, then you would go up and have a look and read them in full there. And then the links to the children. So you'll see if your child was in the observation that led to that experience being planned. So in that instance, it was this one, brown bear, brown bear. If your child was planned for, and if your child has actually been observed in that experience. So again, this just gives you an idea of the different things that are going on in the child's room, the activities that are being planned, and how they link to the framework that's being followed, the outcomes. Then if we go into view, this is really, I guess, the admin side of EarlyWorks. So here we've got forms, and the forms are basically incident report forms. So I can see here that there are 2 incident report forms for my child, one that's already been completed, so I don't need to go into that one, but there's a new one here for me to see. So I just click on the row of that incident report form, and then the incident report form comes up. So these are the forms that you would receive, you know, if your child, anything happens, they scrape their knee, or, you know, something, there's any kind of incident that you need to be made aware of, then it will be recorded in the incident report form. You can see a description there, the nature of the injuries, and if there are any additional notes that appear there. And this is where I would then fill out my part of the form. So put my name in here, have been notified of the incident, and then I would sign. So you can sign online. So JL, and then the date. And if I want to add any other notes, I can. Then I can either save it as a draft, or if it's complete and I'm ready for it to go back to the service, I can click on complete, or I can click on print if I want to print a copy of it. So that's the incident report forms, and we've only just introduced those to EarlyWorks, so your service may not yet have started using the incident report forms via EarlyWorks. Notifications, that just gives you a feed of all of the notifications that you have received. So whenever a new comment or any documentation has been added, you get a notification, and this is just a feed of all of those. Then the event calendar. So basically you also have access to an event calendar where your educators might add events or tasks. So an event will appear in red, and I can click on the event. I can see there's Farmyard on Wheels happening on the 8th of March, and then there's a description of that particular event. And I've got a pending task, so there's something that the educators want me to do. If I click on that, I can see a description of the task. This week we are focusing on the colour orange. Please feel free to send in anything orange that you're happy for us to look at, feel and hold. And then I can view related tasks from here. So once I've actually sent something in that's orange, I can click on complete, and then it will come up as completed on the events calendar. There we go. And important documents. So any important documents that have been added by the service will appear here. And I've just got it's the same one actually, the coffee invitation has been added. So that's basically it. So EarlyWorks really is providing you with a lovely communication tool that you can use to keep in touch with your service, and also to be kept informed of your child's learning and development, and just the interesting and fun things that happen in your service each day.